Okay, welcome back to Voice Global and part of our Fireside chat series at the event, where we're talking to leaders from across industry that are having a major impact on the voice tech landscape. My next guest, I'm excited, is Mike Zagorczyk. Mike, I got that right?
You got it.
And Mike is the Vice President of Product at Soundhound, a company many of us know. Mike, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Yes, product marketing. We have. I do skew on the marketing side, so happy to be here and just talk about voice. I mean, what's great about all these communities and get-togethers, no matter your title, your company, we're all trying to push the same thing forward.
VP of Product Marketing. I won't get that wrong again, but here we are, and I am talking to you remote, of course, because we are in the midst still of a pandemic. Whereabouts do you reside?
I'm in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, California.
And I have to give Bay Area kudos. Done quite well with regards to the pandemic. One of the first places to kind of lock down, and I know that we're all anxious to get out. In the meantime, though, let's have a chat here. First off, I want you to tell people a little bit about Soundhound and the company and the Houndify platform.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a unique history. The company was founded in 2005, so we're a growing startup still, but we have a few years under our belt. And the first version of the company was really the Soundhound music discovery platform, and that brought the name forward, and that's how most people know the brand. We are now Soundhound Inc. We really leveraged the recognition of our brand name, elevated to a corporate name, and we launched in 2015 Houndify, derivative of the brand name. That's our voice AI platform. And we also in the US have a voice assistant app called Hound. So you can see the theme there. That's something you can download and really experience Houndify and use it as a voice assistant on your mobile phone, iOS and Android day to day. But
very cool.
Houndify was really the culmination of 10 years of research, and it's really representative of the company vision. And the music experience was a bridge into that.
Wow, really interesting. And I know now that you guys are a major player, working with a lot of major companies in many industries, but the automotive industry I know is one of them. Tell us a little bit about some of the projects where the Houndify platform is front and center. Yeah,
that's great. We stepping back, industries have to be ready for voice. I mean, everybody is on a spectrum ranging from I'm not thinking about it as a company to it's really right here. And what's important to know about automotive is that they have been leveraging voice input for decades. Simple commands, embedded functionality. The shift of cars becoming connected means that they are opening up a vast array of potential within the automobile. And of course, everything's being disruptive, where cars are becoming services, becoming software platforms. So the smart companies really recognize they need to evolve. And a voice experience delivers everything in one. It's the car experience, it's the service experience, it's access to information. So the automotive industry was ready because it was years in the making. And we're seeing that as an example of the right ingredients. It's not limited to automotive, but that was the match. And because we have a really strong cloud platform in particular, we can not only deliver an embedded voice experience, but also a connected voice experience and give the users and the passengers and drivers like a seamless, custom branded voice assistant.
Well, I think it's paid off because you've made great inroads in this market. What are some of the other markets that you're in?
Yeah, it's a great question. We most recently we are seeing traction in the mobile app space. And what's interesting about mobile apps is that it's a channel, it's a category, but it also contains different verticals. So last year, we voice enabled Pandora's voice mode. So in the app, you say, "Hey, Pandora," and you can speak your request. It's very robust, very accurate. And the reason Pandora did that is because Pandora is obviously a top music provider. They're on Alexa, on Google, they're on every platform. But they themselves wanted to make sure they had a direct connection with their customers. And the mobile app is a delivery mechanism for that. It's really important that customers recognize that they can interact directly with the brand. They don't need to go through a third-party platform. Today, really, we're talking a lot about a recent announcement over the past few days is our partnership with Snapchat. So on June 11th, we announced that we're the voice platform behind their new voice scan feature. So lenses, there are over 1 million of them in the Snapchat app. Very popular. It's one of the main reasons now that people are coming back and experimenting with AR is through these lenses. And but one of the challenges that Snapchat had was there were hundreds of thousands and now millions of lenses, and a lot of folks were, you're holding the phone out in front of you. So we worked together and we delivered a wake word. So you say, "Hey, Snapchat," and then you say something like, "Make my hair pink," or "Give me a hug." And so it's incredibly powerful because then you don't need to know what lens you're asking for. You just ask for the feature.
Right.
And so it unlocks a tremendous value immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It solves a problem, but also embarks on an interesting AR journey that we're excited to continue exploring.
Wow, that's interesting. Congrats on that. Snapchat is quite a company. They're getting big kudos for what they've done with their virtual event as well. So they're doing some really, really innovative stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the landscape. There's a lot going on. It's still early, I think, in the voice tech space, even though, Alexa's been out for 5 years now. So you've got Alexa and you've got Google Assistant, you've got a myriad of other players, but then you've got platforms like Soundhound, and there's a few others out there that are very specialized, or take care of a specific function, like at Snapchat or at Pandora, like the great use cases, or in the car. But it seems that voice is more ubiquitous, right? So everything sort of has to work together, I guess, in some regards. Let's talk a little bit about the landscape. How do you view the voice tech landscape?
Yeah, that's a great question. I talked earlier about industry readiness, and really, and you probably hear this a lot, and it's a theme echoing through voice conferences. Is voice really needs to add value. It needs to add value today. It needs to solve an immediate problem. So there's a lot of potential for the future, but users are only going to adopt it if it provides immediate value. So if you look at the Alexa and Google, why are people putting them in their homes? It was really music was always the leading use case. You had you saw the shift from analog music to digital to portable, to all of a sudden everything being on the phone, everything being in the cloud. But then your phone is not a very good remote control. You had Bluetooth speakers and phones. Why not merge the two and just ask? So that alone was worth the price of the product, and that was really an entry point into this universe of voice that people could discover. So you always need that real hook, and automotive being hands-free is an immediate value. Music being accessible from across the room, immediate value. Mobile apps being also hands-free or having tons of content, immediate value. So those are the industries that we're really seeing. I would say part two of it is asking yourself, what do you need to provide? The idea is you can have a custom voice assistant, like with a wake word. You say, "Hey, Snapchat." You understand natural language. It digs into an NLU platform. You can have narrow use cases or wide use cases. So every company or industry is going to find its own use. We're seeing a lot of interest in embedded, not connected platforms, which is really just command and control of a particular product. So that's not a voice assistant, but it's unlocking value because maybe you're using a medical device and your hands are occupied, but you do want to have simple controls. So it's always about what problem are you solving today? What mix of technology is going to deliver on that? And what's your roadmap beyond it? How are you unlocking value for the customer because you've made that shift into voice, which is a small step in some cases, but is a categorical shift for the future.
Yeah, I would say that, that's interesting. You have such a perspective on this as well. And I think that folks that are just coming into this industry, just trying to get a grip of really what the landscape is, because I think a lot of folks think of the voice tech space as an assistant device in their home, it's a great place to start. It's sort of like the jumping off point. But then it's a really vast landscape. So now you consider what's happening in our cars, and then what's going to be happening in our enterprise and our workplaces, our healthcare centers, our schools. what advice would you have for somebody that's sort of coming into this space, and just in terms of like, or how do you describe it to somebody that, maybe you've met meet a relative at a reunion? Let's hope those happen again soon.
Sure.
How do you describe the voice tech space to somebody that's new coming into it?
Yeah, sure. It's really, if you're a company that is aware of the voice tech space and you're interested, you have to ask yourself, what's the best way you're going to provide value? So for a lot of content providers, it's about distribution. So the reason Amazon and Google are leading the charge is because by being in millions of homes, they can provide a new platform for businesses to have their content accessible. And that could be from banking and healthcare to entertainment. New companies are surfacing that are building their business around these new platforms. So distribution is a key opportunity, and that's why we're seeing a lot of traction. Monetization remains a key challenge. So if you're small, you're likely not going to get a significant revenue from it. But if you're a larger company who knows they want to have their brand on these platforms, it's a great way to move forward. The flip side is, do you want to have customers interact with you directly through voice, as opposed to through a third-party platform? And that's where companies like ours come in, because it's really about voice enabling your brand, not necessarily creating a voice service through another brand.
Right.
That's less straightforward. It's more complex because it's still early days. But the larger players who have the resources, but a lot of small companies as well are looking at it. And that's very simply, it's right now it's a wake word. So when you say, hey, brand, you're unlocking the voice experience. You make a query, you get a response, and your capabilities are now essentially voice enabled. And then there's the text to speech component, which is to say, what is the voice that's actually speaking back? How can you make that voice sound like you? So, I mean, those are really the two components. And we're seeing, as you can see, a lot of activity on the big platforms, but a lot of interest in these custom experiences as well.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see more and more of. I think as brands start to figure this out, right? So it was sort of like I liken it to mobile apps in many regards. It was when, the app stores first arrived, companies felt like they had to get on the app store, but it didn't matter if it was just almost like a billboard app. It really didn't do anything. But now, of course, we've seen mobile mature to the point where the experiences are very brand oriented, very customized, and really good. In fact, I don't know about you, but I find myself using the mobile app for most things now versus going on to the website.
That's right. Yeah.
It's easier, right? And I think that's where we're headed with voice. And some companies are getting there quicker than others, but I think that's what we're going to see. The voice assistants are going to continue to proliferate, and the number of services available on them is actually going to grow as well. So that part of the market's going to grow. The customization part's going to grow. And, we're going to solve some really, really cool challenges here in the coming months and years ahead. One quick question, with regards to the pandemic and coronavirus, have there been any surprises that you've seen, given your vantage point in the voice tech space, just in terms of usage or anything else? Does anything else jump out at you?
Yeah, it's a topic that I've been following closely. You've been following closely. We actually even recently hosted a webinar on the subject that a lot of people have, and the two elements that or a few actually, I've definitely heard and read that usage from smart speakers has picked up, partly because people are home more, and even the call center experience. A lot of people are relying on remote services, so they're calling in, and the need for companionship and interacting. There are a lot of people who are alone, and the assistant and the engagement with the assistant evolves as the need to speak and interact, either whether it's a call center experience or a smart speaker experience. And then the speculation that touchless experiences are going to become more desirable, that voice is not simply convenient or safe if you're driving, but also safe if you don't want to have to touch anything.
Good
so
hygiene.
I think it will get accelerated, and I think people will welcome it for that reason. So I would say it's early days, but the voice is a way that we communicate as humans, not simply to transact. And I think there's going to be a desire for that.
I think that's well said, Mike. We really appreciate your time. My guest for this fireside has been Mike Zagorczyk. Mike is the VP of Product Marketing at Soundhound. Mike, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for your insights, and we hope we'll see you at the conference. I'll see you in a chat room.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Cheers.